They call it the Big House. Crandon, the mecca of short course off-road racing. Crandon's not only big, it's fast, bad fast. 100 miles per hour on dirt fast. 900 horsepower purpose-built race truck fast. And the fastest guy on the fastest track, CJ Greaves. In the last round at Crandon, he fought tooth and nail and fiberglass against rival Keegan Kincaid to claim victory in Pro 2-wheel drive. In Pro 4-wheel drive, CJ came from the back to shatter the track record his dad had held for 5 years while he chased down said dad and then passed him for the win. Today, the blonde monster rides again. Who can catch him? Who will be the fastest guy in Crandon when the checkers fall in the summer's biggest off-road contest? TORC, the off-road championship for the Big House, starts now. Stick around.
The sun is shining, it's windy, and this track needs it because Mother Nature watered this facility with over 5 inches of rain last night. TORC, the off-road championship, presented by AMSOIL. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Big House Brawl Part 2. This is the motorsports legend, Ricky Johnson. I'm Robbie Floyd. And Ricky, in a 2-day event, typically that second day you're just making minor tweaks, minor adjustments. But with the rain we got last night, is that going to be the case?
Well, this is the Northwoods. We see a lot of rain here, and there's no place that can take rain better than Crandon. So the guys are going to make their adjustments to the track. It's probably going to be a little bit tackier. But if they stay on line, we might see a new track record. If they get offline, they're probably going to drop about 3 to 4 spots. So focus is going to be key today.
This track drains unbelievably well, and you have to make adjustments today. The guy who's made the most adjustments in 2016 has to be the defending Pro 2 and Pro 4 champion, CJ Greaves, and earlier, Kate Osborne caught up with him.
CJ, with your 2 Pro 2 wins and you're finally back on track in Pro 4, how much confidence does that give you coming back to your home track here at Crandon?
You know, it gives us a ton. Being able to take all the down weekends and be able to turn it around as a team and use it as positive inspiration to get these trucks back where they need to be really shows that we got a good team underneath us. The team gives us an awesome truck every weekend, and we just hard work, dedication, got them back up top. Awesome to be here in Crandon, only 2 hours from home. I think we got 5 inches of rain last night, but these track crew are going to work their butts off and hopefully put a phenomenal track underneath us.
All right, we'll see if we can do a repeat day here at Crandon.
CJ had a tremendous day at the last round here in Crandon. We'll see what today has to offer, a different track, but the same format where we'll see Pro 4-wheel drive, Pro 2s, and the Pro Light. So a little bit different order. We'll start with the big boys, the bad boys first, the Pro 4-wheel drives, Ricky.
Exactly, and the track, as I just mentioned, the track is really coming together right now. It's going to be ultra fast. We might see CJ's, it might be the shortest held record in off-road. You know, Johnny's held it for a long time. CJ beat it yesterday. The track is primed right now, and these guys they want to get out there because they're starting earlier than they did yesterday.
Speaking of Johnny Greaves, he is the series points leader as it stands right now, but after a terrible day at the last round, the field kind of caught up to him in one fell swoop. Also, CJ Greaves now with that victory, he moves up, and also the fastest lap in history at Crandon, a 1:18.865. I'd like to welcome everybody watching from the web at TORCseries.com. Yes, we are making 2 television shows today, and that's why you'll hear some of these long layouts, because that's the way that our television show will start, that you'll see on Fox Sports.
Yeah, some of the things that you don't hear from us is our queen in the booth, Kimberly, and what she's doing is she's directing both of these shows, and so she's telling us when to pause. So every now and then if you hear, as CJ said, I think it was a brain fart is what he used yesterday.
Cerebral flatulence, I like to call it.
Exactly. So if you hear us all of a sudden pause in the middle of a statement and stuff like that, a lot of times we're dealing with editing issues and stuff like that. But it's awesome that everyone gets to watch this around the world because we're building a TV show, which is awesome, but now you get to see everything like these kind of deals. There's the cowboy. He's out there walking around. He's going to get ready to go, and he makes this trek before every race. And I don't know how old he is. I'm going to say
137 years old.
I was going to say 132 because he looks a lot younger than 137. But he makes that trek, and right now he's watching Face Destiny get up into the starter booth, and you're going to see him make his run. But a great race yesterday, man. Pro 4 was all over the map.
2s were tight until so tight they got hooked up.
Yeah, so tight. Same thing with Kent Brasho. You know, he's been out for a long time, and now he's all the way on the outside. Let's see if he can pull that whole shot.
You know, You see Faye Stesney's working his way up into the tower here at Crandon. He's the official starter. The starting grid at the top of the screen, that's how they will line up. But again, the race actually doesn't start until they cross the start-finish line. So they make almost a full half a lap before the race is officially started. So wait a lap and then find your favorite driver in there. Working from right to left, Kent Brasho was extremely fast yesterday on the far right as we see it. To the far left, Ross Hook with another podium. He finished third. He's looking for second or first today.
And the green flag is off. Ross Hook with a great jump on the inside. We see Mike Jenkins pulling slightly ahead, but Johnny Greaves and CJ with a terrible jump. But watch Johnny on the outside in that monster Toyota.
And where does Ross Hook go? He's so inside, he has to shut down. He doesn't want to drift wide, but I'm seeing a Toyota power plant in the lead. The series points leader, Johnny Greaves, in that Maxxis tire entry with a hole shot.
And we're going to keep an eye on this lap time because these first 3 laps, Johnny should be able to beat CJ's record because the track is perfect right now. It's a little dusty, but underneath it's very tacky. And you watch, he's not spinning a whole bunch of forward bite right now. So Johnny is on the gas.
Excellent track preparation, Jeff Norsom, and the entire Crandon crew. The Crandon guys that have been here, Cliff, I know you're always in his hearing, offering suggestions, but this track drains better than any track in all the moto years that I've been, better than any track I've ever seen.
Exactly. Here we're seeing Scott Douglas, who's currently second in points, and Chad Horde, winner in the past. So Chad didn't have as good a run as he wanted yesterday. You can see him. He's just rubbing up on the backside of Scott, trying to get by him, but those two guys are dicing for third and fourth.
The reason Chad Horde wasn't as fast yesterday, he was in the mix battling with Mike Jenkins, but he had a plug wire burn up. Got a little too close to the exhaust. He switched motors not too long ago. A simple mistake, but it cost him. He was only running on 7 cylinders. Let's see what he can do with 8.
And unbelievable how dusty it is. We saw CJ Greaves check up really bad coming off at Argonne.
Uh-oh, something wrong with Horde.
And Horde goes into the hot pit. Bad call for, it's not a bad call. It's a bad situation for Chad Horde right now. So Scott Douglas clearly out in third place.
Find out what's wrong with Chad Horde, get it fixed, get back out there. If he doesn't lose his lap, then they can still come back into the competition caution at the halfway point. This is a 9-lap race. After lap 5, they will have a mandatory competition caution. And, air cleaner. The air cleaner's lifted off. We saw a broke stud in Texas with Cam Reimers. You're not supposed to be able to lift that air cleaner up that easy, that quick.
No, but the roost here is so crazy and so heavy, especially with the Pro 4s and 2s, that sometimes you get a rock up there and it'll break the stud, or actually could break the carburetor off a little bit. So let's keep an eye on Johnny Greaves' lap times. He runs around, he's doing a 1:19.9, so he's not quite there yet. So he's got a couple laps to try to beat that record of CJ, but now CJ all over the back of Scott Douglas.
CJ with a 1:24.5 that last lap. Johnny with a 1:19.9. So a 5 or 6 second difference in one lap. That's a big difference. But look at the setup differences between Scott Douglas, and he had to make a little correction. Looked like he was trying to push and had to make the adjustment.
Yeah, Scott had the situation last night. You can see they're hesitating right there because of the dust. It's so dusty that they can't see, and that's something you would have never guessed on. If you had to bet money and said it's going to be so dusty they can't see down the back straightaway, you would have lost your life on it. But right now the sun and the wind is drying this place out really quick.
Swinging through that Potawatomi turn 1 there, Scott Douglas. They're trailing both Johnny Greaves and Mike Jenkins, and now CJ setting up. He's wanting to go inside both of these trucks. These are 4-wheel drive. CJ had to check up for just a bit. Had to get on the binders for just a moment.
Yeah, he's trying to do a crossover. Now he sticks a fender on Scott, but he's holding his line, doing a great job. So look for him. Probably just go straight down to the inside and try to get him on the exit. So now we'll see if he opens up or if Scott can get a run around the outside. Great job by CJ Greaves. Now moves himself into third place.
And I don't think he really went up. I think that Scott was just kind of out of position. He was so far outside. His spotter's probably telling him inside. He doesn't know how far. Let's go down to Kate Osborne. You got more on CJ?
Yeah, CJ was saying earlier today that he doesn't think a lot when he's in the truck. It actually is more distracting if he's thinking. But one thing he wanted to focus on today was his tires. He wants to try to get the most traction and still make them live. And right now, as he's fighting Scott Douglas, that's going to be extremely important here towards the end.
Thanks, Kate. That's kind of funny because didn't you have issues with CJ not thinking in the truck when you were driving against him?
Well, the thing, with CJ, what he's saying, he's just reacting. And when a driver is going as fast as CJ Greaves is, and Johnny and Mike Jenkins and Scott Douglas and all these guys, you're out there, you're just reacting. It's happening so fast that you have a plan, you have a general, I'm going to come in, start on the outside, try to exit lower, whatever the case may be. but you have to deal with what's dealt to you. And sometimes you bicycle, sometimes the back end steps out. As you see, they're making constant corrections. So when you look inside, they're constantly adjusting with throttle and steering.
We saw in the last round where CJ Greaves was battling with his father. Mike Jenkins was battling with several drivers. There's Johnny out in front with about a 4.5 second lead over Mike Jenkins that last time around. But Johnny had a mechanical failure, something he said hadn't happened in years. Had a gear brake. Fifth actually let go. He was trying to skip gears, going from 4 to 6. He made that one mistake when he jumped into 5 for just a second, and it really cost him. There's Mike Jenkins in second, starting to get some pressure from CJ Greaves. Let's go to Kate.
Mike Jenkins trying to maintain his second place here. He said today his goal is to find more speed out of the track. He knows CJ and Johnny are quick, especially with their manual tracks, and right now he's trying all he can to keep in front of CJ heading into the caution.
We got Mike doing a little bit of blocking there, but CJ taking it a little bit deeper now. Can he back around and get the exit? Both of them running a very protected line down low, but now CJ with that manual will have a little bit more top speed at the end of the straightaway, but that Traxxas truck is always fast. We've seen it fast with Mike, and we've also seen it fast with Keegan Kincaid, but now CJ Greaves takes over second.
And the difference between the two, also Mike running the fuel injection as well, so a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, that's when they're wide open, it's not going to be much different. You know, you can map the stuff out and you can make it a little different, or you can do the air to gas ratio when it comes to a carburetor. But both of these trucks are on fire right now, and Mike, you know, you got to give it to him because he's a 100% businessman. He runs and owns Traxxas RC cars and stuff like that, and he comes out here and he's mixing it up with guys like CJ Greaves that do nothing but race. They train on motocross bikes, they do all the different stuff. So for him to just step out of the office suit and get into a driving suit, he's doing a great job.
Johnny Greaves has completed 4 laps. After the 5th, we will have that competition caution. Re-rack, restack for the second half of the race. They'll start nose to tail. Backing in, just slinging that Maxxis entry right now. And look at the lap times as these guys go. We're down in the 121 second. Again, that record yesterday in the 118 second record.
Well, right now, that last lap, Johnny Greaves was a 21.5, and his son, CJ Greaves, a 20.93. So CJ about a half a second quicker than Johnny at this point. We saw that yesterday. So right now, both these guys are going to bide their time, get to the competition yellow. Here we see Chad Hort back on the track and moving slowly. So he's out there trying to gain points, but really tough break for the Ponzi Amsoil entry of Chad Hort.
Johnny working his way by again, putting him a lap down. Not sure looking at Chad Hort. Yeah, he's a couple of laps down now, so he is trying to salvage points, just like you mentioned, hoping, or maybe if somebody breaks, I don't know that he's hoping, if somebody else breaks, he might gain a point here or there. Johnny he broke yesterday, had some problems, but today it looks like no problem for him. I mean, he is dialed, just like I saw him in practice at the last round. He just never placed a tire in the wrong spot, and that truck hooked up. And so far, the first half of Pro 4-Wheel Drive, he's doing the exact same thing. But CJ Greaves, his son, will start right behind him when we start Pro 4.
When it comes to guarding your engine, Amsoil offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. Amsoil provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. Amsoil, devoted to protection.
Brakes on the left and the right. You got this? Got your brake levers ready? Okay. Go ahead, Cash.
We know dirt. Maxxis tires.
Ricky, as they're making their kind of a parade lap. As they're making their parade lap also, we have the guys lining up. I think Ricky Johnson going to try and maybe talk to either Johnny or CJ Greaves in the truck. We've got one of their radios. Go try and do this again. As for all you watching on the web, you see how much the wind's blowing. They're actually watering the back portion of the track. You saw how dusty it was. They haven't laid down very much water today because it rained so much last night. But they are adding some water, so they're having them go around the short course right now. All right, Ricky, you got your guy on?
Yeah, I got Johnny, so let me get him on the radio. Johnny Greaves, Ricky Johnson in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Marcy? I bet this is killing you to watch this shit go down.
I'm jealous like you can't believe. Of course, it's Crandon, and it rained a bunch, but now they're actually laying down a little water on the stretch down to the start hairpin. So, how you feeling out there?
I'm good. I got a start. Once I got a little lead, I just kind of saving the truck and basically waiting for CJ to get in second because I know it's going to be on from here on in.
Yeah, you got that little blonde-headed punk that has been putting down some fast laps and stuff like that. So you guys had a great race yesterday. Obviously, you know what he's got under his hood and you got under your hood. So we're looking for a great battle. And I hate to say it, buddy, but I'm cheering for the old guy on this one. Copy that?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good battle, that's for sure. And I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. We both got identical prepared equipment, same setup. I guess the best man wins. And I'll have to live with it, whether it's him or me.
Yeah, I think you're going to be a proud dad either way. I think the arms will be a little bit higher if you're the one up top, but you'll definitely be happy if he gets up there as well. But you got a bunch of angry guys behind them as well. So, hey, all the best. Keep it up, and the track's going to be perfect for you. Go get them, champ.
Thanks, buddy. You're missing one of the best Crandon. There's grip everywhere.
All right, go get them.
And we'll see them use that grip here in just a little bit. And I was trying to point just to throw it into his head. CJ 0.3 of a second faster on his fastest lap, and there they are watering that back straightaway. That's one of the fastest turns you'll ever see.
Oh, it is a crazy fast straightaway. That's the fastest place on the track. You know, we're fast going into turn one, but this, we have that run going down in there. We have to come almost to a dead stop to flick it sideways coming into that hairpin. So we're just about 100 miles an hour. And as I say, I mean, I used to be, but now the guys out there now are just close to 100 miles an hour, going almost to 100% braking, trying to get stopped. So they got them on the short track while they do a little maintenance, and that's the beauty of short course that we can make changes during the race because it's dirt and it's off-road racing. As Robbie said, last night we saw about 5 inches of rain. This place was underwater. You can see the drain just off to the left where the pace truck is coming up. That's a giant, like a 2-foot drain that goes through, and you can see, Robbie, how huge this crowd is.
Welcome to Crandon.
Yep. And we said we got the spring run, and then we have the fall run, and the fall is even bigger. But it's great that the weather worked with us, and we got rain last night, but it's beautiful today.
82 degrees, I think, supposed to be the high. It's breezy, no chance of rain, bluebird skies. There's a guy trying to win, much like his brother did a couple of years ago, and in one of the best races you'll ever see. And yeah, they're taking through the short course there, taking the little shortcut. And now they'll work their way to the backstretch, and then they'll line up single file. So just, again, welcome everybody watching on TORCseries.com, whether it be Facebook or any way you're watching on Fox Sports Go.
And when we were talking to Johnny about, the race between Johnny and CJ, and, there's Kelly and little Mikey out there. So Kelly Jenkins and little Mikey Jenkins up there.
Little Mikey, that's big little mini Mikey.
Mini Mikey. So, yeah, so the guys are going to get a chance to go look at the course, and you'll see them scrubbing side to side to make sure they know how much traction or how little traction they have coming down into that hairpin corner. But back what my thought was, I wasn't saying that no one else is in the mix, but these two guys yesterday were on fire, so we want to make sure that we keep an eye on Jenkins and Douglas, because was Douglas holding back, or is he,
Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. It was getting dusty. They didn't want to put down any water because we had so much rain last night, but they have added water to Crandon, and things could change up, get a little slippery in portions of this course. We're at the back half of the Pro 4-wheel drive race. Out in front, Johnny Greaves, the series points leader. His son, the winner of the last round, in second. Jenkins in third. Douglas, Hook. Remember, Hook finished on the podium yesterday, trying to do the same today. Watch the cones as they make their way between these two orange cones. That will be the acceleration zone. There you see it. And Johnny's on the gas. Green flag means go.
unbelievable that we're seeing this much dust around the track. It's that because that's a testimony of how warm and how windy it is right now. The track is actually more dusty than mud.
It's crazy. Johnny told us it should be one of the best tracks ever. There's so much grip to be had out there right now, and these are the Pro 4-wheel drives. They're grabbing with the front and rear wheels, so they always find grip no matter where you're at.
Yeah, but the speeds that they enter these corners, you watch them, they come in, he backs it in, turns it sideways, then hammers the gas. You see minimal steering, almost the wheels are straight. So he's pointing those steering wheels where he wants to go, unlike the Pro 2 where you're catching it. So now Johnny Greaves is pretty much on the pedal really hard, using the throttle to steer the vehicle more than the steering wheel.
Things are a little different today, starting with the Pro 4s, then we'll move to the Pro 2s, and two retired Pro lights later, and there you saw Johnny push a little wide. There's the portion they watered. He has to test it out. It's tough when you're the first guy. CJ almost got to learn a little bit.
Well, Johnny didn't want to open up the inside, so he went across the slick stop, and then CJ opened up the entry of the corner. Now CJ looking to the inside, Johnny on the outside. He obviously pushed a little bit there, so anytime the drivers are down in the main line, it's very slick, and that's what happened to Johnny. And now turnabout was fair play. Johnny was on the berm. CJ, we can't see him in the dust,
Where's CJ?
Went down low and then pushed up on him through the middle.
And you get that Roostomatic 2000 coming down that straightaway. I mean, when it's dusty, I mean, it's one thing to have a little bit of roost thrown at you, but when it's dusty, just practice driving down the freeway with your hand. Actually, don't do that. But imagine holding your hand in front of your eyes driving down the freeway. That's what they deal with.
Exactly, and the roost comes in really hard. You obviously have a lot of tear-offs and stuff like that, but Johnny is very, very hooked up right now.
It's like driving in the fog. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Johnny Greaves not only likes Crandon because of this track, but he's also a fan of Crandon because of all these people that come out. For the first time in 10 years, Johnny Greaves made his way out to Jurassic Park last night, and he said it was so much fun. He wanted to give a big thank you to Crandon fans for making this experience awesome. You guys will hear and learn a little bit more about Jurassic Park later in the show.
My buddy, our friend Grant Langston, he went to Jurassic Park, a.k.a. the Land of the Lost, a couple years ago, and it took him days to get out of that thing. It is a fun camping experience for the fans out there, and Johnny Greaves not having too much fun as he's trying to pull some distance between his son, making a little bobble there. CJ might make up ground.
That's what I'm so impressed with CJ is that he made a small mistake the lap before, shut down to the inside, pushed across, and he made up the ground on Johnny. But both of them running neck and neck. As he said, they're both equally prepared trucks, same power plant, same transmission, same tires, same wheels, same shocks, everything. Setup might be a little bit different, but I'm going to say if you had to pick the two, Johnny's a little more aggressive, CJ's a little more calculated.
And CJ looks to be a little faster right now. 3 laps to go, so time's running out. CJ going to the inside line. He's going to hold that. We saw him really hold his line in the last round in the Pro 2 and not cut in front of Keegan Kincaid. When it's Dad, I think you can probably be a little more aggressive.
He's going to shoot. He's going to try to shoot under the bottom side of both of them. This reminds me of the day back when Rick Huseman and Johnny Greaves are both, and I was racing Pro 2 with Rob Mack, and we would run up there to watch these guys because you hear that Toyota TRD power plant screaming, and when you have 2 of them side by side, it's unbelievable. And looking at it, it's almost like a shadow. Johnny's got an orange shadow out there, and that's Mini-Me right in his rearview mirror.
It reminds me of Formula Drift, but on dirt. These guys are hauling tail. CJ setting up this is a very long straightaway with a big hairpin left-hander that really sets you up for another long straightaway.
CJ a little bit wider. Johnny getting a little bit of hook on the bearing grip, helping him off.
CJ got the drive.
Yeah, CJ got a lower drive, but now Johnny seems to have it just on the exit of the corner.
And those whoops are different sizes. It depends on where you hit them. You can find that little happy spot and might hit a little bit lower when that's what you're looking for down that straightaway.
Yeah, if you can keep the vehicle on the ground, then you're going to be much faster. There, CJ goes a little wider there. I like his turn, but that's what they call that is the skybox turn. So now CJ goes to the outside and looks back to the inside, and he's not able to make that work. So he has to pretty much run in Johnny's dust or right up on him and then make a move. But Johnny's not making any mistakes right now.
Making a right-hand turn, the Amsoil finish line. That's where the flagging stand is. The white flag comes out. 1 more to go in Pro 4-wheel drive. Who will it be? It looks like it's going to be a Toyota. Will it be Johnny Greaves out in front? Dad in the 22 entry or the 33 Maxxis tire? truck of CJ Greaves. Look how tight they are with 1 lap to go.
Johnny got a little loose right there. That allows CJ to get a little bit closer, but Johnny sort of adopted CJ's line through the horizontal corner, and now is able to pull 2 to 3 car lengths coming down into the hairpin turn.
Well, listen to those motors, those engines wind up. Johnny again gets a little wider, but gets a good drive. I think he likes it over there. It's more to the inside this turn, but this is where he starts working wide, just like he did on the start.
Well, what's great about this is both these drivers, obviously father and son, they're not going to take each other out, but Johnny's just driving as fast as he can, and CJ's trying to find a place to get around. So now CJ, I like this, opens it up a little bit more over this rise, and then gets a drive coming off.
Johnny
pushes a little bit.
Johnny, did you see him hit that hole or whatever it was on the inside, taking that defensive line? It may cost him a little.
CJ shoots to the inside. Is he going to throw a door on the old man? Nope. Johnny with a great, not blocking, but just a great defensive line right in the middle of the track. It's almost impossible to go around unless you punt him.
Does Johnny go to the inside and drive aggressive and hold off his son? CJ's going to square it up, go to the inside here. Coming to take the checker flag, and it's going to be Johnny Greaves besting his son. The series points leader is going to add a couple of markers over CJ. The battle for the lead was between 2 Greaves. Here's the race for third. Mike Jenkins out in front and takes a checker flag. So 2 podiums for him. Scott Douglas going to finish in 4th. Ross Hook in 5th. What a race in Pro 4. We'll be back with more for Crandon right after this.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Let's bring the truck in and we'll swap those tires out so we can get you going down the road.
What would happen if a side-by-side had more power than it ever needed, a smoother ride than ever expected, and as much storage and customization as a pickup truck? Where would you take a side-by-side like that? Where would it take you? Step behind the wheel of the new Bad Boy Stampede 900 4x4 with 80 horsepower and see for yourself what would happen.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection. Maxxis Tires, we know dirt. And by Cooper Tires, we make tires for people, not just cars.
Johnny Greaves climbs out first. That means he just finished first in the Pro 4-wheel drives here at Crandon. You know how much he wanted to win after braking yesterday, and he did just that, Kate.
Big celebration for Johnny Greaves climbing out of that truck. That was not an easy race defending against your son. How difficult was it really?
Well, you know, it was kind of funny as I was talking on the radio, and once I got the start and I got a little bit of a lead, I told my spotter, I said, I'm just going to try to save this truck as much as I can. Let me know when CJ gets in second, because then it's on. And, you know, I need to know all his lines, where he's running and everything. And I even switched by and back and talked to him a little bit. You know, I'm like, ready to do this, buddy? Let's go get it. And, you know, it's a great time racing with him. I know he wants to win as bad as I do. And, you know, we've been racing each other for so long. It's just like, I knew if I kept it tight, you know, he wasn't going to slam me or nothing, and he'd have to go around the outside of me. And,
wasn't one of them tracks where you could get a good run on the outside because there's grip on the inside. So my hat's off to the Crandon crew. They did an awesome job with this track after 4 inches of rain, and you know, the Maxxis tires, the Toyota motor gets me another hole shot. I just can't believe it. This truck handles so good. And everybody, Fox Shock, Method Wheels, Forest County Potawatomi, people that are here supporting it, they put so much into this race. It's amazing. So thanks to everybody.
Another great battle, father-son battle with Johnny Greaves, CJ Greaves, Johnny Greaves coming out on top.
Boom it is for Johnny Greaves, his 3rd victory of the season, besting CJ. And Mike Jenkins, a very consistent podium finish, the 47 in 3rd. Ross Hook, another top 5. Larry Pegram in the top 6. Let's go down to 2nd place, CJ Greaves. It wasn't a win, but one heck of a race out of him and his father, Kate Hazen.
One heck of a race indeed. CJ, your dad knew you were coming there. I heard you talk about your tear-offs. How difficult was it to see with the visibility with all that dirt?
Yeah, you know, the dust in the beginning was crazy going down the back straightaway. The first couple laps, I didn't even know if I was on the track, and I was like, Devin, you're going to have to tell me where to go. I mean, I can't see the bumper in front of me. I can't see nothing. So he was telling me, all right, straight. All right, you got to get on the brakes. The corner's coming. So hats off to him. He kept me on the track and not in the woods, and I need to get a better start. I'm sick of having to come from the back and get covered in dirt this whole time, but my dad ran a heck of a race. We tried every line we could, and we could get close but not by him. So he ran a heck of a race, and just can't thank Maxxis, Toyota, Monster Energy, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, Impact, all that mud, and I can still see. So hats off to them, and Forest County, Potawatomi, and all my fans and family and crew that comes out here to help us out. Thanks a lot.
CJ Greaves, another Pro 4 podium here at Crandon.
CJ Greaves trying to work his way up in the standings in 3rd right now. Johnny leads now by 8 points over Scott Douglas, so a little separation at the top. There's only a 2-point differential coming into today. CJ Greaves is the defending champion, and he's starting to come on the back half of this season. Let's go down to Kate with 3rd place, Mike Jenkins.
Mike Jenkins and a mini Mike Jr. here. Mike, that was quite a battle for 3rd. You know, you were running quick there for the majority of the race, there, and then Scott Douglas came up behind you. How much of a battle was that for you, and was it what you were looking for as it related to your final position?
Not really. I saw Scott behind me once, but the race was in front of me, and we've been struggling on the big tracks, so not going to a standard transmission. Both the Toyotas are running the X tracks, and there's a lot of talk in our class about keeping the cost down and not adding additional costs. But these guys are going to beg me to put another $47,000 transmission in there for these big tracks so I can run with them. This is the first available spot behind the Toyotas, the way things are set. Unless they get some extra weight for running the standard transmissions, this is the first available spot. So Johnny would have been here yesterday had he not broke. This is the way we finished yesterday, which is one Toyota broken. So we give it a hell, and this is all we have. To everybody else behind us, that's all I had to.
Mike Jenkins on the podium here in Pro 4 again with mini Mikey as well.
Another strong run by Mike Jenkins. It's all about family. You saw that with the racers, but it's also about the fans, the spectators as well.
We're the Vandervest family, and we're 4 generations of the TORC racing family.
I've been coming to Crandon for about 20 years now.
I'm Alan. I'm Kenny. We're cousins, and we've been coming to Crandon for 14 years.
Crandon, the TORC series, been awesome racing, family-oriented.
We look forward to coming here every year. We just get together and have fun and play card games and drinking games, and we just have a ball.
The campground here is awesome. I mean, you meet different people every day. Different people walk through your sites and, have a drink with you, tell stories, just have a good time. That's what it's all about.
And that's what it's like out there in Jurassic Park. We are a big family here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship. There they are lining up the Pro 2-wheel drives. We had one heck of a battle at the last round. Which driver is going to step up, or how many drivers will step up and challenge for the win today? Keegan Kincaid, he was up front, but he didn't stay there. Brad Lovell, he's been fighting some gremlins. Nick Tyree, he's going to be challenging for the victory. The rookie, Rodney Van Eperen. Or how about CJ Greaves? We saw how strong he was in Pro 4s. The Pro 2s are up next.
Brakes on the left and the right. You got this? Get your brake levers ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead, guys.
We know dirt. Maxxis Tires.
Outside of 1 is not where you want to be. Affirmative, sir. You're doing good, relax. Everybody getting ready for more ride? That worked fine.
Hey, can I trade you sunglasses?
Yeah, sure.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by Turo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications. And by Akamai, faster, forward.
Welcome to Crandon, our booth here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. He's the man, Ricky Johnson. I'm just an announcer, Robbie Floyd. And RJ, we got
back-to-back announcer.
Three-time. You're the three-time TORC Series champion. I'm the three-time announcer here at TORC. What a race in Pro 4. It's kind of different starting off with the Pro 4s, but I mean, as strong as the race we saw yesterday in Pro 2s, I'm expecting even more out of them.
Well, as a father, my son races as well. It's got to be such a joy for Johnny Greaves and CJ to get to battle each other, really at the prime of their careers. Johnny has been doing this for so long. CJ and the whole Greaves family has followed his career and chased his career, and now the focus is going a little bit more towards CJ into the pride that he must have to be out there banging doors with him. It's got to be second to none.
All right, we talked about the Pro 4s. Let's take a look at the Pro 4s. We saw it just a moment ago, but can we see it one more time? It was so good then, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. We could do it. I'll see. It was good.
Well, what was great is that Johnny came from the outside and swooped the first turn, and then we've seen that if a driver on the outside gets a good run at the first turn, he's able to carry his speed around, because on the inside it drops a little bit steeper. So when the driver in lane 1, it's the preferred spot. The whoops are a little bit lower on that side when you're on the far right as you're coming down into turn 1. But it drops off a little bit steeper, so a driver has to let off a little bit more, and the vehicle almost feels like it wants to roll on you, where the guy on the outside can carry the speed like he does every lap from the outside.
More planted level.
Exactly, and you can use that cushion all the way around, so it's a safer spot if you're neck to neck. But if you're slightly behind that outside spot, it gets roosted so bad you can't see. Drivers get pushed up into the soft stuff and closer to the wall, so you start to panic a little bit because you can't see. But Keegan Kincaid pulled off a whole shot from the outside. Johnny did this morning. So
let's take a look at it. I'm sure the start's going to be in there. We're ready to roll it now. The Pro 4-wheel drive we just witnessed. Let's take a look at it again. The start. It's always about the start at Crandon.
And you'll watch Johnny Greaves. He's right in the center of the screen, and he just keeps plowing. As he comes around the outside, he hangs onto it wide open, and he comes around with Mike Jenkins on the inside of him. So both of those guys doing a great job, but Johnny Greaves at that point. Now, CJ Greaves started to work his way up. Here he comes in, does a slide job on Scott Douglas. The spotter pretty much tells him at this point that you are clear, and CJ moves up, uses the cushion. Now, underneath Mike Jenkins, gets a good run underneath him, and away he goes. And that's what Mike Jenkins was talking about, the advantage of that. Another look on the inside by CJ on his dad Johnny, but both of them have those manual transmissions. So yes, the manual transmission is faster on these big tracks, but you have to drive them right. You have to match the gears. CJ looked high, CJ looked low, but it was all about Johnny Greaves when it came to that Pro 4 main event. So hats off to him. Wish I was out there dicing with him, but it's great to see him back on top of the podium.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get to see you at a fall Crandon. I hate putting that on you, Ricky, but I mean, word has it, I know you're trying to drive, and I don't know who we're going to have fill in. Maybe Grant will be able to come back. How much does it hurt you? Because I know you're a former champion. You've won here at Crandon. How much does it get into your stomach knowing that I could be out there, I could be doing that right now?
Yeah, but you can't be like that. You got to just be. You got to take what comes, and I'm enjoying my spot, and I enjoy analyzing and breaking down what's going on. I'm enjoying supporting our kids. I got our daughter Cassie just graduated from college with a bachelor's in interior design. Our son Jake graduated from college with master's in
lacrosse,
construction management. Was a lacrosse player and stuff like that. And then Luke is out here racing and pursuing his dream. So I get to enjoy my family life as well. And the focus has been on me in my life since I was 9. You race motocross and stuff growing up. You have to be so selfish as a racer, and you put so much attention and so much pressure on everybody. My wife Stephanie goes from babysitting me to the kids to all the different stuff, and so she has to be the ringleader. So to answer your question, it's a long answer to a short question. Yes, it burns in my gut. I want to be out there racing with these guys, but the time isn't right. The series is in a major transition right now, and it's great. The MSI guys are doing an awesome job. They've worked with us at Frozen Rush, and now they've taken over this, and so I think it's on the right track. And will I be back? I don't know. Do I want to be back? Yes, but the time is right for me to be here and support the guys from the booth, so here I am.
I've got Adam Comey's cell phone number if you want. We can maybe give him a call at MSI. But you did do well at Frozen Rush.
Yeah, I got second behind Bryce Benzie once again. I was able to win it the first year. That truck actually won every race. I won it the first year with our old Benzie's Pro 4, and then Bryce won it the last 2 years. But I was honored to be second. The last time I drove was the year previous. So it's a lot to sit out of a Pro 4 and then jump in, and that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to come out here and look stupid. And I need to represent my sponsors.
Do that, Ricky.
Well, but you make mistakes, and you're racing so hard and so fast, especially here at Crandon, that it takes a little bit to knock the cobwebs off. It doesn't scare you like, oh, I think I'm going to die, but you're just missing your marks by a little bit. And you watch Johnny Greaves and CJ and Douglas and Jenkins and everybody, and those two Toyotas got out in front because they're hitting their entry, their middle, and their exit absolutely right, and that gets them down the straightaway. So they're a hard package to beat. The fall race is going to be awesome because we got a bunch of different guys coming out. You got Bryce Menzies, you got Kyle LeDuc, you got Carl Renazader. The rumor is that there's a whole slew of West Coast guys coming from Fall Crandon, and I can't wait to see it. I wish I was in the middle of it, but I can't wait to announce it from here because a lot of very, very fast trucks coming here in the fall as well.
All right, I've got a question. I know you were the motocross, supercross legend. You were my hero, and not in a crazy way, but I had a poster of Ricky Johnson over my bed. I wanted to be like you, and then you've done NASCAR stuff. You've done the off-road stuff. Whenever you showed up at Crandon, you lined up that line, what was the pucker factor compared to everything you've ever done? Because to me, it's scary just watching these guys going in the first turn.
Turn one. I have to say that when you commit, when you sit there and you're driving down into turn one, and you sit there and you wait, and you've seen the crashes, you've seen Mike Jenkins go through the cables, you've seen Johnny Greaves flip, you've seen all these different things happen. You get to this point where you're so nervous and so nutted up, and your bladder's kicking over driving, adrenaline's hitting you and all the different stuff, but you, in a way, submit to whatever's going to happen, and you just enjoy the moment. So as soon as you see Cowboy run by, you see Faye go up in there, and as soon as he switches that over, there's something that clicks inside a racer, and you just commit to whatever's going to happen. Either you're going to win, you're going to lose, you're going to crash, whatever it is, but you're not going to give up.
And so that number, that factor?
10. It's a 10.
On a 10 scale?
I've jumped out of an airplane tandem, and that wasn't any more scary than it was going to that first turn at Crandon.
There's the guys on the podium one more time. Again, a big presentation. There's Tiffany Stone, Miss TORC. She's down there. She does the on-track interviews. Scott Rain does the on-site announcing. You need to come out here and check them out in person, be a part of it. They usually throw out those hats and maybe some swag here and there as well.
Yeah, it's great. You got the AMSOIL girls up there, so doing a little hat juggle right there. You got they'll do the TORC stuff, and then obviously everything is presented by AMSOIL. So all three of those trucks are AMSOIL trucks, and they're running hard.
Hey, we could talk about that, and let's tease that a little bit later on in our show, because this is everybody for the web watching on. This isn't the same stuff we talk about necessarily. Don't have time for the Fox show. We've got a big race at the end that's either going to be Pro 2s or Pro 4s. Guys like CJ Greaves going to have to make that call which truck he drives in.
Oh, he's running Pro 4. You know that.
How do you know? I've seen Pro 2s win this
I'll
race.
bet you $100 right
now.
now.
No, I'm not betting you anything, but I know I've seen Pro 2s win. It seemed like it was just 2 years ago Chad Horde won, but you're saying
I was fortunate enough to win in a Pro 2, and I got a great start, and I was out in front, and some of the guys had problems. So Kyle broke, Johnny broke, and stuff like that. So it's at the end of the race. It's kind of a dash for cash.
Yeah.
And a Pro 2 can win, but we just saw how quick this track is drying out. You can obviously see we got a capacity crowd here, but the Pro 4s, they'll go off of qualifying times or practice times, and the racetrack is so much drier and more beat up at the end of the day that the Pro 4s are just that much faster.
But the big cup races are usually at the end of the day. How were the Pro 2s able to win on those days? And yeah, there was some luck, but I saw Chad turning the same lap times as 4s the other year. So as the day goes on and it gets drier and dustier and the track starts moving up, that helps the 4 or the 2?
Well, the 4s, absolutely.
Because they're able to go low and get the grip?
They're able to run down low and shorten the track up. Where the Pro 4s, they can run high, they can run low, they can go all these different places. Where a Pro 2, I was fortunate enough to beat my teammate, very similar situation that you just saw with Johnny and CJ, but I was able to just catch him. I went from 8 cars back to 2 cars back to I was looking on the inside of him within 2 turns. And so once the track goes away, which it's going to because it's so hot and so windy outside right now, and also all that rain is deep, so it's very firm underneath, so the track is not breaking away like it normally does.
Right.
It's going to be a Pro 4, but here's the thing.
If a Pro 2 wins, I'm going to laugh.
If a Pro here's how Pro 2 can win. Pro 2 gets out in front. Pro 4s start dicing with each other, slowing each other down, and the dust could become a factor. So if we get somebody like a wild card getting a hole shot and holding up Johnny and CJ, because I'm just going to focus on them right now because they're the 2 fastest guys today. If somebody holds them up for a little bit, lets the Pro 2 run clean and clean air, and he can use that cushion and stuff like that, that's how a Pro 2 can win because of the dust and the elements.
And there is no competition caution as well, so there's nothing that busts them back up. All right, whoever wins, they probably had some sort of move. Well, we've got our VP power move. What was the VP power move of the Pro 4-wheel drive race? We're still guessing. What would it be, Ricky? I guess it's got to be right here. The pass with C.J. Greaves on the inside of Scott Douglas is the move for second.
He comes in. Scott, he kind of short braked Scott a little bit, shot to the inside, and had a great drive through the middle, was able to get it. Look at another angle, comes in, brakes a little bit deeper, rotates a little bit harder than Scott, and starts his exit sooner. So that's how C.J. was able to pull off the power move of the race.
And that may have been for second or third. It's something like that, but it was a sweet move.
No, it's a very aggressive move. And you think, they're just coming down there throwing it sideways. No. They're coming down there right about 100 miles an hour, and they can't see around the corner. They're almost backing it up. So the commitment that it takes to run a Pro 4, and that's the difference. A Pro 2, you got to be smoother on the gas. You can't throw it as sideways because you don't have all 4 wheels catching you, obviously. But the commitment that it takes for a driver when they get into a Pro 4, you drive at 100%. There's no saving tires. There's no pacing yourself. It's 100%, 15 minutes of fury, and you got to be out there 100% the whole time.
Welcome to a very extended day here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for watching around the world at TORCseries.com, whether it be Facebook. Always hashtag TORC16. I haven't got a question today. I haven't looked.
No.
I need to get Kimberly and Adam and Brian in there. If we get a hashtag TORC16, ask Ricky or myself a question. Ask me, and then I'll ask you.
Yeah.
And surely there's some kind of questions out there. It might be what hair gel Ricky uses or something. Show him your wrist. Show him your hand.
Old man injuries, so they had to fix me up, but I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Chow, the 2 Chow brothers. So I had total chaos on my body, got stem cell injections in my knees, and I also had a trapezius taken out of my hands, so they had to pull the little bone out by my thumb. But we're doing good.
For Danny
and also want to
Storbeck
thank,
in 1989.
Yeah, I want to thank Dr. Calvo for setting me up with a really cool brace so I can take showers and stuff like that.
So if you wondered how Ricky rides so fast, he just knows one way. He doesn't have to twist the wrist. He just goes down, Guy Cooper style. We're going to step aside. You like that? We're going to step aside here for just a bit. Be back with more for TORC, the Off-Road Championship, right after this.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
What would happen if a side-by-side had more power than it ever needed, a smoother ride than ever expected, and as much storage and customization as a pickup truck? Where would you take a side-by-side like that? Where would it take you? Step behind the wheel of the new Bad Boy Stampede 900 4x4 with 80 horsepower and see for yourself what would happen.
Track prep underway. There is the road grader. Man, Blade, he's not using all of it. Oh, never mind. He's folding up. He's leaving the track. That's what's taking the time in between these races. So they
they get all that dirt, and a lot of that good wet dirt gets pushed wide, and they just bring it back down. Or some of it was actually held low, and they just try and redistribute it throughout the track. And it was funny. It was Cliff that said that this morning. They were talking about if you go low, you may get stuck. They thought that a lot of that was going to be really wet underneath, and we were dry on the first laps. Unbelievable how it drains here at Crandon.
And by the way, that is non-potable water. That
do not drink.
Do not drink this water, or get it all over you.
You got to watch the Amsoil finish line.
But that is like a landmark. That water truck where the guy squirts it around and stuff. It moves really slow and kind of iconic, but it is what it is. But yeah,
it's a necessary evil though to have that water truck out there and doing that, because you needed to keep the dust down. But that first lap or so, I mean, you're guessing a bit the first time you hit it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you are, and that's the thing that's one of the scariest things about going into turn one is they move all the dirt around, then they'll run this truck, and it'll get pockets, because you see it's not a very consistent run, and so depending on if the guy up there gets a little arm pump, and next thing you know, he lets it lean one way or the other, or if he has to sneeze, we could end up with a little mud hole here or there. But as we saw in the Pro 4-wheel drive, the dirt gets blown off so quick anyway, so everything changes immediately. And
got another question for you.
Yeah, that's an ugly looking water, isn't it?
All right, Supercross. The Monster Energy Supercross stuff is kind of changed. It seems like the tracks are really prepped. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, they smooth them out so much. We see that here in the TORC series as well, where they regroom these tracks and make them smooth, very much like Supercross. Do you like it all smooth like that, or you as a racer that come from having to visualize those lines, do you like it to be a little rougher and you have to change those lines at times?
I would like it smooth.
You say in between?
No, I like it smooth at the beginning, so that when you're running side by side with 4 and 5 cars, that are all around each other, so it gives guys a place to move offline. But then I want the main line, the fast line, to get rough, so that the drivers have to either enter high, exit low, enter low, exit high, run all the way high. So you got to change it up and stuff like that. And it's a little bit, this is getting a little bit one line, but because they can only do so much with the track. And as you said, they got to make it smooth, make it very drivable for the guys, and also safe. But I would actually like to get a little bit rougher.
Welcome back to Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, Crandon, Wisconsin. TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by Amsoil. The Big House Brawl, the second edition of that. We race twice a weekend, and we also have a fall race, and there are the Pro 2-wheel drives lined up, ready to go. They have done the track preparation. There's CJ Greaves, who won the last round. And he knocked off, as you see Cowboy working his way down, checking to make sure CJ's all right. He knocked off that truck that's just next to him, the 7. And let's take a look at how he was able to beat Keegan Kincaid. Kincaid was out in front, Ricky, early, but he didn't stay that way.
Well, these guys had an awesome race. They were going back and forth. CJ looking inside, CJ crisscrossing back and forth, and then CJ went to the inside and they touched. This wasn't a dirty move. He wasn't trying to take him out. It just the tires grab a hold of each other, and then they get hooked up within the fiberglass. We see CJ trying to back up. Keegan's trying to go forward. Then he spins a donut. Then he gets back going, and here we have Brad Level coming in third. So now it's a three-way race, and here we see Keegan out in front, and then all of a sudden, boom, he broke a plate or something like that in the transmission, and he had to pull off. But it wasn't a gimme for CJ. CJ earned every bit of that. But now we see the points have flipped. That CJ is second from the outside because he's first in points, and now Keegan is in second.
They do invert the start. The top 6 guys in points, they flip them as far as they line up on the grid. So you look at them from left to right, and you see the top of the screen. Those are the drivers in this race. And, yeah, the part that broke yesterday, some bolts sheared on the flex plate for Keegan Kincaid. They've got it solved today. Was it because he was trying to jam it into gear going back and forth? We'll never know, but all we do know is he wasn't able to win the last round's race.
Tires, hostile wheels number 25, Ari
There he is. There's Cowboy pointing, making sure that all the drivers are good, ready to go. Again, find your favorite driver at the top of the screen. That's the way they're lined up right now, and we're ready to start here at Crandon. The fastest turn in short course off-road racing lies ahead. The Forest County Potawatomi first turn. Base Destiny goes up. That red, when it goes yellow and green, it's go time.
He's going to slide it over to yellow. Guys put it in gear. He stands there like a card player, and then now the green is out, and away he goes.
Again, Ari Leindyke Jr. with a good start on the inside, much like the last round. Can he hold on to the lead? That inside's going to be good until you hit the sweeper and drive it on the outside on two wheels. It's Keegan Kincaid.
Yeah, as we talked about, Keegan's running a racing line, so it's not dropping off as steep, and both CJ and Keegan were able to come around first and second and put Ari Leindyke back to third.
So tough for Ari Leindyke in that gunk truck being so inside. He has to push wide a little bit. CJ just keeps all that momentum up, takes over second place. But again, the official start doesn't happen until they hit that AMSOIL start-finish line.
And Ronnie Van Eperen running really strong. He got to the podium yesterday. He's been stepping up his program week after week, and now we see him running a very close fourth place to Ari Leindyke.
Similar engines, 900 horsepower for the Pro 2-wheel drives, but yes, just rear-wheel drive where we saw the Pro 4s just a moment ago. It's as smooth as the track gets, although it is the wettest the track will get as well today because everything is dried out after those 5 inches of rain fell here in Crandon.
And this one gives me a ton of respect for CJ Greaves, not just because he's a driver and a champion in the past, but right now he's got to go from driving a 4-wheel drive where you come in, you hammer, you go from 0 to 100% gas. Now he's in a Pro 2 where he has to feather on the gas because there's no clutch. It's all in the converter and the transmission, so he has to be much smoother, completely change the way he's attacking this track, and obviously he's not doing a bad job. But watch him get faster and not as sideways as much as the race goes on, as he starts to get the feel of that truck and the muscle memory comes back into play.
And what does CJ Greaves do? Does he push hard this first half, get in front, possibly on the 7 of Kincaid, or does he wait back, test things, and say, I know the second half of the race is really what it's going to come down to?
Well, he knows Keegan and him are both running, record-setting paces, and you can see how much they pulled from Ari Leindyke Jr. But he's going to get in front as quick as he can. This isn't like motocross where you can pace somebody and push them and try to wear them down a little bit. Physical condition is not a factor here. Both these guys are young, strong men. They're not going to get physically tired and beat up. So you have to get out there as quick as you can and get in front and start throwing dirt in the guy's eyes and behind you. So anytime you can, take the front spot.
A 6/10 of a second advantage for Keegan Kincaid. But look at that. CJ goes the inside. Keegan's way out in that fluff. There is no grip up there. He's glad it didn't blow over the outside of that berm.
Yeah, he went just up doing what they call a Scandinavian flick or a pendulum turn, and he actually went a little bit and threw him to a push. So now Keegan, the first time this weekend, is on the defense because he led every lap until his truck broke yesterday or on the previous round.
Putting himself in a position is CJ Greaves, the Monster Energy number 33, the defending champion of the Pro 2-wheel drives. These guys went out and back and forth, the same amount of wins in the 2015 season. Both of them with 6 victories in Pro 2. Both of them face each other at times in the Pro 4-wheel drives. These are the young guns of the sport. CJ actually turned 21 this month. I said he was 20 in the last round. I believe Keegan's 26 years old out of Crandon, Wisconsin. So 220-somethings looking very strong out in front of this field. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Well, it's not exactly where Keegan wants to be in second. However, he did tell me earlier this morning that sometimes it's actually easier to follow someone here at Crandon because you guys can judge what the guy in front of you is doing. That's extremely important here because of the hard braking points that Crandon has.
That could be a point, but it's not a good feeling, though, Ricky, when you're watching the lines of the guy in front of you, and he keeps pulling farther and farther away from you.
Well, what Keegan's going to do is watch what's going on here. Watching Van Eperen and Nick Tyree. Both of these guys have really stepped it up. Nick Tyree had a bad crash here a couple years ago. And we see a lot of guys pushing in what they call the Argonne corner. And the reason that is, in the old days, they used to take off and go straight down the race all the way down to Crandon. It was a 200-mile race out through the Northwoods. But once again, we're watching Ronnie Van Eperen in the number 45 Toyota, and then Nick Tyree in the Chevrolet, the number 91 right behind him. So these two guys getting better and better week after week because seat time is key. You can't just watch and work on your trucks you have to drive.
Rodney Van Eperen, there he goes, exiting our screen in the 45 out of Appleton, Wisconsin. Good friends with Johnny and CJ Greaves, a family. They actually talked him into racing the Pro 2s. He was a buggy racer. You got more, Kate?
For Rodney Van Eperen, the first race here in Crandon was extremely important. It really helped with his confidence and the fact that he finished without braking. He is starting to trust that truck. Also, he likes that he can see the leaders in sight. He may not be as quick as them right this point, but he loves that he can see them.
He's doing well, and this is a track that he's raced on many times. I mean, he was dominant in the super buggy class. But the other ones, you look at Texas, you look at Chicago, those are tracks that he's not familiar with. It's got to be even more difficult.
I like the line he took right there at the finish line. He went up high using the cushion and stuff like that. And coming from a buggy, as we said yesterday on the earlier rounds, it's a completely different race truck, and you have to make sure that you don't drive it too loose. And now we see Nick Tyree losing a little bit of drive on the exit. See, he comes around, loses the back end, gets a little sideways, take a mouthful of dirt from Van Eperen. But right now, Van Eperen's looking good to me. He's got a little low tire on the left side, but I think it's just the lower air pressure. The Pro 2s will run lower air pressure to try to get more traction.
Lower pressure, a little more grip. You know, the higher the pressure, maybe do a little bit more spinning. Back end wanting to hop around. That's probably got to be the worst feeling, too, when you're coming down the straightaway with those whoops. When the front's one thing and you kind of steer out of it. When that back starts swapping, you get in that tank slapper, it's hard to negotiate.
Well, when the tail starts wagging the dog, it gets a little spooky. But a lot of times, you know, as we talked about Rodney Van Eperen, he's getting used to this, and so your steering input will become less and less. You become more and more confident as you look further down the track. So he's doing an unbelievable job. He's driving the heck out of it, watching, once again, a truck just like Van Eperen's, and that's CJ Greaves out in front, and he's got about a 2-second lead over Keegan Kincaid. So is Keegan holding back for the second half? We're about to find out.
Yeah, it makes no difference whether you're 1/10 of a second or 10 seconds. As long as you start, you know, nose to tail, it's okay for these guys. And that makes me question, is Keegan Kincaid holding back, or is CJ? Heck, CJ could be holding back for that matter. He knows he's got the back half of this race. At the completion of this lap, we will see the competition caution come out for the Pro 2-wheel drive drivers, and they're hitting a lot of that berm. A lot of time that can bog the motor down, and we may see that in the Pro lights. It's pretty fluffy in that hairpin.
Did you use the word fluffy?
I did use fluffy.
You did use fluffy, and it is loamy, what they want. I think is the use that they use. It sounds a little manlier, but it will bog the trucks down. But these trucks, you got to remember, you can see CJ brake checking a little bit. That's the equivalent to a motorcycle doing a scrub, getting back on the ground and back on the gas really hard. But as you're back to your point of using the cushion, it can be your friend, it can be your worst enemy. We saw it bite Keegan, where it grabbed his front wheel and pulled him up into it and allowed CJ to get underneath him. But now CJ's riding just in the very comfortable spot. You know, as we talked before, there's 5 lanes of racing. He's running right there between 3 and 4.
3 and 4 is the fast way, and the fastest in the first half is CJ Greaves. He leads Keegan Kincaid, Rodney Van Eperen, Nick Tyree, DeGrave, Lovell, Lyondike. Who's going to win this thing? The back half of this Pro 2 final coming up in just a bit.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
I'll come back to you in a minute.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The second half of Pro 2-Wheel Drive about to begin, and CJ Greaves leads this one. Keegan Kincaid, Rodney Van Eperen, both have looked fast. Was Kincaid holding back? He's a local. He lives here in Crandon. We're about to find out. 5 laps down, 4 more to go here at the Big House. Green means go. CJ with a start, a great pull off that straightaway. And that Monster Energy Toyota is hooked up.
CJ with a great jump. Keegan looking to the outside, trying to mirror the lines and stuff right there. But I want to throw a shout out to one of the guys in the back, Jason DeGrave. He's doing everything he can. He bought the truck from Jeff Kincaid. He's looking to run a full season next year. So keep an eye on number 72, Jason DeGrave. He's obviously, and you watch Keegan making some strong moves here at the first half of the restart.
You mentioned DeGrave. He finished just off the podium in the last round, and now the guy who finished totally off the podium because he broke was Keegan Kincaid. He's in second. He's in the tracks, but doing something just a little bit different. You know, your dad, my dad, everybody. There's Jason DeGrave, who finished just off the box. He's currently in 5th place as he comes around. Look for the 72. He's from Bark River. We're going to be at his hometown track here not too long from now. He's starting at 7th, currently in 5th place. But when we look at the field out there and Kincaid, does he hold back? He can't hold back on the back half of this race. And it looks like he's got a little bit more for CJ than he did the first half.
Yeah, and we're looking at the two of them, and they're about a car length and a half to 2 car lengths separating them. But there is no holding back. As we said, they're not going to get tired physically. The trucks are set up to take the beating. The tires are project tires, so they're designed to take the beating as well. So you just got to give 100% the whole time.
Using that berm on the outside, CJ Greaves. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
I was curious if CJ Greaves is one of those drivers who talks to his spotter throughout the race, and he said he's absolutely not. He said the only time he ever talks to Devin is if there is a problem. He says it's his form of focus and his way of trying to be patient.
For the most part, that has to be a one-way radio, doesn't it, Ricky?
Yeah, and it's that way because you're doing so much out there. All you're wanting is information. There's no time to give any feedback. And, it's not like Days of Thunder where you're like, all right, Rusty, I'm going to take him on the outside. You're reacting and doing everything you can. And when that voice is in your head, that's your eyes behind you. They're letting you know what's going on and feeding you the information. And now, we see Keegan get a little bit too loose and lose some drive off of there.
Keegan, CJ, both drivers not looking good in that turn. They're 2 totally different lines, and both of them had their problems.
Exactly. And I meant to say, Keegan, he got a little bit too loose on the exit, but he's able to reel him back in. So CJ, you can see, gets a little pause there, as we talked about the cushion of the berm. But Keegan's going to have to do something special to catch and pass CJ Greaves. And there you see both drivers running the cushion. It keeps getting pushed out further and further. And that's what I was talking about. This track starts to get longer and longer for these drivers, so it becomes slower. Even though if you looked at the mile an hour, they might be going at a total 5 mile an hour faster per lap, but they're going the long way around. They're not able to shoot down low. So as we watch them go through the gravel pit, they're both running really high up and using that cushion to get the drive coming off. And right now, we see Keegan a little bit frustrated trying to catch CJ.
I don't know about his aero package, though. I mean, he's got a wing there. He's going to get a lot of lift on that front end.
Maybe he can clear about 3 jumps and make up some time like Supercross. But here we see CJ Greaves going by. The green flag is out, so we still have two laps of racing to go. So something's got to happen.
Keegan Kincaid with mechanical problems in the last round. No problems here except for getting by CJ Greaves. Keegan Kincaid, he's been so strong at Crandon. He won 2 out of the 4 races last year. This is his hometown track. He started the year off with a couple of victories. Won both Texas rounds. Chicago, he had a second and a first. He had been the fastest driver in Pro 2s until yesterday. The mechanical bugaboo, and there's a big ball.
Yeah, and I think we're feeling a little frustration. You don't like it when you're definitely one of the fastest guys on the track, and you have somebody just walking away from you because he's not making any mistakes and he's driving very, very good. So CJ Greaves is right on the ragged edge and doing a great job.
Oh, Mr. Cotter, I got a question. You don't want to have CJ starting to build momentum right now, too. We saw what happened last year. 2015, he kicked tail in the 2s and the 4s. You don't want to give him any more confidence.
Yeah, when we showed up at Dallas, it looked like CJ was off just a little bit, his chassis and everything, but they do a lot of testing here at Crandon, and it's definitely showed how strong he and Johnny are in the Pro 4-wheel drive, and now CJ in the 2-wheel drive. Here he comes. He's going to come around with the white flag.
One more lap to go for CJ Greaves. You're talking about being off at the start of the season. It was suspension difficulties. The thing was set up just something wasn't right. They went back, they came home, they tested, they looked at things. His dials, everything was set, the setup was not where he wanted on the dials for the suspension. They were in places that they never should have been. I'm not saying anybody fooled with them or messed with them, but they were just totally off. When you're expected to be one place, you're in another, of course you're going to be off.
Right, and what I think they did is they changed the track when they came here and tested at Crandon before the season, and the track, whoa, it gets a little bicycle there, and that's just confidence. Turns right into it, throttles into it, and away he goes. But you're watching him, and he gets faster as the race goes on. He gets more comfortable with that 2-wheel drive, and he keeps the vehicle from being real far sideways. He is drifting, and he's using a lot of rear steer with the vehicle, but he's not sliding too much. He's not exposing the sidewalls too much on entry, through the middle, or the exit. So CJ Greaves is in the zone.
Zoned out, looking way out in front. No problems, clear sailing, no lap traffic.
Now watch how much higher they are here.
Perfect.
See how much higher they are than the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s. So the Pro 2s have to chase that fluffy cushion that you were talking about, Robbie. That lowly traction on the outside. So here he comes. One more turn.
It's the cushion, one more turn, heading towards that AMSOIL finish line, and he's now won his 3rd race in 2016. CJ Greaves. Keegan Kincaid in 2nd. He also has 3 wins on the year, and we've got one heck of a Pro 2-wheel drive battle once again for 2016. CJ Greaves wins Pro 2s. I'm sure his smiling face will be talking to Kate here in just a bit.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Get the same quality and performance the pros depend on when you fill up at VP Racing Fuels. And while you're there, check out VP Madditives, formulated by the mad scientists to give your ride a seat-of-the-pants boost. Visit VPRacingFuels.com for more information.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
Bad Boy Off-Road and their all-new Stampede 900 4x4 side-by-side.
And by AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
He's a bad, bad man. CJ Greaves takes the victory once again, 2 days in a row. The number 33 comes out on top, his 3rd victory this year. Kate?
Another celebration for CJ Greaves here in Pro 2. Keegan got you on the hole shot there, and you had to then track him down. How did you know that was the right time to pass him?
You know, he just made one small mistake, and that's all it took today. Is the cushion was really heavy, it was slick on the bottom. he was trying to get out of the water and caught the bank, and I was like, all right, here's my opportunity. I'm sick of eating roost, and he killed me again on the start, so I still need to work on these starts in both classes. But Boots and Pat and Cody, they kill this truck here on the race weekend. So hats off to them. All the guys from Monster Energy, Toyota. This engine is just screaming. J&H transmission, Forest County Potawatomi, Maxxis Tires, Impact, Mastercraft. Everyone that comes out here and supports us. This track is awesome. I can't wait for the Cup.
CJ Greaves, another win here in Pro 2.
What a race it was. Keegan makes a mistake. CJ takes advantage, pounces on it. 33 with his third victory. He has to be a little disappointed. He, meaning Keegan Kincaid. Yes, he finished second, but he had a truck to win. He just didn't win here today. Let's go back down to Kate.
Yeah, Keegan Kincaid not looking so happy right now, even with the second. You had a good truck today. You told me earlier, kind of redid it, but he got you. What did he have on you today?
Oh, yeah, he was the better one today, but I made a mistake and I let him by me, and that's all it took. And I tried saving my tire a little bit for the end of the race and started driving hard, but the track was rough and it was survival. And I made another mistake, but I can't give it up for my team. We worked so hard on this truck last night, and to put this truck back up on the box is good and good for points, and we want that championship. So I can't thank Cooper Tire, AMSOIL, Traxxas enough for giving us the opportunity to be up here again.
Keegan Kincaid looking forward to the championship points with that second place.
Keegan talked about it being a good points day. He loses 2 to CJ. Now it's a 4-point differential. Brad Lovell, Van Eperen, Ari Lindijk in the top 5. But yeah, you've got to keep finishing in front of your rival. The guy on the move that's trying to move up is Rodney Van Eperen. He ties his best finish in TORC with another 3rd place. Let's go down to Kate.
Yeah, Rodney Van Eperen, look at a little tire climbing out of that truck, but a good race for you. You told me earlier that you are really feeling a lot more confident because you can see these guys. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true, but holy man, the roost, wow, I never pulled so many tear-offs so fast in my life. I was just getting shoveled full of dirt, but I don't know. I think I made more mistakes in that race than ever, but whatever. It was a gnarly track, and sure, everybody was making mistakes, so we'll take it. To be standing here next to, I watched these 2 kids grow up. I watched them race little trophy carts out here, and I know their dad's obviously really good, and I'll tell you what, they're like 20 years younger than me, and I'll take it all day long standing next to these 2. This is awesome.
Rodney Van Eperen, 3rd place here at Pro 2 in Crandon.
Going to have to call Rodney Van Eperen the sheriff. Look at those glasses. Well, that's going to be it for us for a bit, and you can still enjoy on TORCseries.com the sportsman races throughout the afternoon. When we come back, it'll be the Pro Lights. The Arturo Tires Pro Lights. I'm sure it's going to be a great race as well. So, Ricky Johnson, I'm Robbie Floyd. We're going to step aside here for just a bit at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.